Take a look at this video. Just imagine now you have
Nigerian
the
Army
DSS
School of Islamic
establishing
Affairs.
a
What's
building
happening here? What's going on?
all for the purpose of studying Islamic affairs. And as you can see there, you have the Nigerian Army School of Islamic Affairs. I took my time. I went into the comment section of this post, and I could see some Northerners saying that we have the Pentecostal, we have the chaplain training school in Nigerian Army. Now, here is the argument, and here is what is absurd. The doctrines of religion, when it creeps into the Nigerian military, there's only one thing it breeds. It breeds the dichotomy of ideology. It brings in conflict of interest, and most importantly, it's fractionalized the people. In the Nigerian army, if Nigeria was a country that is real, that is reasonable, that is actually formed by the people of the country. I've always said it that Nigeria is a formation of the colonial masters, and they handed this rubbish to us. And for the past 64, going to 65 years now, the only people who tried to challenge the status quo, they were unjustly maimed. Nigeria would not have won that war if they didn't have the backings of the British, who gave them so many weapons of warfare, and in exchange for the oil that is found under the ground, the earth of the Biafran territory. Going back to this issue of Nigerian army building schools, having what we call Islamic affairs studies, it is absolutely nonsensical. In a situation whereby the commander of a platoon, right, of a battalion, whatever the word terminology is a Christian, right? And then you now have the remaining of the, should I say, the foot soldiers, right, who are being commanded by the commando to be Muslims. And these are people who are just freshly breaked from the recruiting service programs, and they went to this Islamic affairs, and they find themselves in a situation whereby they needed to survive on eating some stuffs. Maybe they needed to survive on eating pig meat. Maybe they needed to survive on eating dog meat. Maybe they needed to survive on just doing something that needed to be done for their survival. You know what these Islamic affairs will tell them? Do you know what this religious indoctrination would have told the Nigerian soldiers? They have told them that you cannot. It is haram. It is haram for you to engage in eating either dog, pig, dog, whatever the meat is. And by extension, you know what will happen to that Nigerian army? They get killed because they will not be fed. They would have probably starved. But they are food, but they are telling you that because of their own religious belief. When you start infiltrating religious conversations into the Nigerian army, then the Northerners, then the Middle Belters, then the Nigerian government must stop to tell us that they are not winning the war against banditry. It is clear. Because we know that the war of the Fulanese, bandits or others, on my screen you can see people running away from their villages, communities in Benue right now, right? The war that the Nigerian army is fighting is against religious extremism. So it is almost impossible for the Nigerian army to defeat the ISWAP. It is almost impossible. You take a group of Nigerian soldiers who went to the Nigerian Army for Islamic Affairs to study the Quran, to study religious doctrines. They get indoctrinated, they get brainwashed in the line of the Islam, and you ask them to go out there to go and fight people who are trying to propagate, it's not, I beg, how you won't take work? How is it ever going to work? Little wonder that so many people from the south, or should I say, from the Christian region of the country, many people have said we will not enroll. That the Nigerian army is like a base for Islamic armies. When you look at the badge of the Nigerian army, what you have there is an Arabic writing emblem. When you look at so many of their uh, emblems, what they have are Arabic inscriptions. The Nigerian army should be devoid of any form of religiosity. But again, I am not talking about an army that is that is normal. They try to defend that after all you have the Islamic affairs, you also have the chaplain affairs. In fact, they say we have the Pentecostal affairs. The disparity in the beliefs is why you will see that the Nigerian army is not progressing. Because the religion of the Nigerian army should be the religion in having a faith in a Nigeria that is prosperous. Nothing. They shouldn't be talking about Jesus Christ. They should be talking about Muhammad. They shouldn't be talking about any traditional god. They should be simply talking about the Nigeria as a nation that they have come to serve. The Nigeria as a state must be their God. It's as simple as that. If there will be any prayer, it should be God bless Nigeria and nothing more. They shouldn't be in Jesus' name we pray. Absolutely nonsensical. But again, I am not talking about a country that is ready to forge ahead. I am simply talking about a country that keeps propagating the vision. Now, even in the Nigerian army, you will ask yourself that how come when you take your time to look at the Nigerian army, those that are taking the top ranks, they are particularly from one region. Most of the time, they are what? One religion. You just don't quote me. Please go and fact check me. If you look at it, that we've had more of chief of army defense staffs, right? We've had more of chief of defense staff, chief of army staff. I want you to go and check which region are they from, what religion do they practice, what are the criteria that you need to gain promotion to get to that certain positions. It is clear that the Nigerian army has been skewed. So them establishing other parastatals like other religious centers is just for camouflage. Like, okay, so then let's just keep them quiet. But we know the real agenda. Okay, if truly there was respect and there was equality for religion, why should you have an emblem? The Nigerian army emblem, as you can see on my screen, having an Arabic inscription. If you ask them, is this an Arabic? They'll tell you no, it is Ajamin. That Ajamin is the word the North used to use before Arabia came on board. But that is not the formal language we speak. If we were going to have anything written, maybe in God we trust, maybe whatever, victory belongs to God, whatever the thing is, it should be written in English that any common Nigeria, you don't even have to be a secondary school graduate. Easily you would read into that emblem and you comprehend what they're saying. If I'm a Christian, I've stayed all my life in the South, I've always been a Christian. When I go into the Nigerian army, I should be what? Disorientated of my religious belief. That is what it should be. I am supposed to be stripped off of my Christian ideology. And then I will wear a new ideology, which is the Nigerian religion, the Nigerian army spirit, which is believing in the Nigerian ideology, believing in protecting Nigeria. But man, I am just wasting my time. What we have is a charade. This is why you will see so many Nigerians who are ex-armies finding it easy to cross. You see them, they switch sides. You start hearing words like the commander of the ISWAP used to be a former lieutenant general. You hear he used to be a former Nigerian soldier. You hear he used to be a part of the civilian JTF. You know why? Because while he was a Nigerian army, he only had that belief of Islam. He always had that belief that of conquest. And when you take a group of people, when you introduce them to a religious belief, you must have the understanding that some people will go overboard. Some people will go to the extreme, right? Because basically it aligns with their person, it aligns with their persona, it aligns with their character. Some people are naturally born maybe wicked. Some people are born to be, Epicurean, like they just want to have fun. Some people are born stoic. So we have different traits. Now, when you are introduced to a religion that professes, that propagates things of force, that propagates you enforcing yourself over people, then you must understand that the person's persona will naturally, assimilate into that religious belief. And when you are being asked by your Nigerian base that go and kill some people who are talking about that belief that you were trained in Nigerian army, then you should know it's just an exercise in futility. It's as simple as that. I was born into a Christian family. I'll give you an example now. All my life, my secondary school days, I went into maybe a missionary school. Then I almost became a priest boy, or should I say, I don't know that word, right? Now, I got to a stage of my life, then I said, let me enroll for the Nigerian army. I get into the Nigerian army. Inside the Nigerian army, what they ought to do is make me unlearn everything that has to do with religion. That your new religion is your country. That is it. Love for your country, respect for your country, die for your country, worship, serve for your country before any supreme imaginary God. That is what is applied in so many other countries that you see are developing. You won't see an Egyptian army whom will see ISIS and ISWAP who are going into their state or country all in the name of Islamization or jihadists killing their people, and you see this Egyptian army putting religion first. It's possible they will put their country first. I mean, we can say that with Saudi Arabia. We can equally, I agree that I'm saying the fact with Dubai. Dubai does not joke with anything Islamic terrorism. They don't negotiate. They don't condone. They don't tolerate them. A reason why would the Nigerian army begin to say that they want to have a program calling it the terrorist rehabilitation program? When you know that these people are religious extremists, then you tell me that you want to rehabilitate and then reintegrate them back. It is simply because there is a wing in the Nigerian army that must have suggested it. Yes, I am damn sure that this issue of rehabilitating Islamic terrorists who are killing our people in the north and now spreading down south, the initiative, that program of rehabilitating them must have emanated from the Islamic affairs of the Nigerian army. Because they would have seen that probably through their studies, maybe we could talk to these people. But what have we seen? It is nothing but an exercise in futility, nothing but an horrendous exercise. And when the people who want to opt out of the country, say that the Nigerian formation, the way Nigerian program, the project is being run, is just into total destruction. Yet we see so many people telling them that they are absurd, that they will be silenced. And indeed, we had what we call a martial law declared on the Southeast. It is unfortunate. I mean, it doesn't make sense. For me, like, try and add one or two together. What sense can you pull out? DSS now are even taking it upon themselves. DSS too. They don't go. They create. They name it Bola Ahmed Tinubu something Islamic studies. Like, what the heck? What the heck? What happened to the DSS? Commissioning, inaugurating buildings for intelligence gathering, for more science and technology, innovation, research and design. Why? God. You see, na religion go finally finish this country. I'm telling you. Na religion, na him go finally end this country. What's it called? Election is coming, right? Election is by the way, right? Very soon you will see them. They'll begin to run their mouths, begin to push the religious agenda. And it is unfortunate that I look at my northern brothers, some of them with high level of education, but in fact, in the south, you see professors, you see them professor of chemistry, professor of history, professor of geology, kneeling and bowing down for a pastor who doesn't even have a BSc. My brothers and sisters, prayer, religion will not take us out of this quagmire. It would never do that. It will not. Because the Nigeria is not a one religion state. But everything that has been happening is like moving Nigeria into an Islamic state. But that will never succeed. It will never happen. Instead of Nigeria to become an Islamic state, Nigeria will break. It is the fact. Let us run a country. Do we want to be a secular state? Period. If the North want to be a theocratic state, then why not let them have their country? In the South, we can operate our secular state because we sincerely in the South, or shall I say in the Southwest, really do not care. In the Southeast, they are more towards, the Christianity. Yes, if that is it, fine. Let that be so. But the idea that Nigeria is the secular state, but you look at in the Nigerian army what you're seeing Arabic inscriptions. You look to your left, they are establishing DSS Department for Islam. This is absurd. If you're just joining, please kindly subscribe, like, and share. Bye for now.
Somebody explained to me. I don't get it. What's going on within the Nigerian army? I am saying something like this. Is this country a movie or what? Please, Nigerians, I honestly need an explanation to this. I don't want to say I'm confused because I can never be confused. I really need an explanation to this.